The Third Day by Ginzberg. Up to this time the earth was a plain, and wholly covered with water. Scarcely had the words of God, "Let the waters be gathered together," made themselves heard, when mountains appeared all over and hills 71, and the water collected in the deep-lying basins. But the water was recalcitrant. It resisted the order to occupy the lowly spots, and threatened to overflow the earth, until God forced it back into the sea, and encircled the sea with sand. Now, whenever the water is tempted to transgress its bounds, it beholds the sand, and recoils 72. The waters did but imitate their chief Rahab, the angel of the sea, who rebelled at the creation of the world. God had commanded Rahab to take in the water, but he refused, saying, "I have enough." The punishment for his disobedience was death. His body rests in the depths of the sea, the water dispelling the foul odor that emanates from its 73. The main creation of the third day was the realm of plants, the terrestrial plants as well as the plants of paradise. First of all, the cedars of Lebanon and the other great trees were made. In their pride at having been put first, they shot up high in the air. They considered themselves the favored among plants. Then God spake, "I hate arrogance and pride, for I alone am exalted, and none beside." And he created the iron on the same day, the substance with which trees are felled down. The trees began to weep, and when God asked the reason of their tears, they said, "We cry because thou hast created the iron to uproot us therewith. All the while we had thought ourselves the highest of the earth, and now the iron, our destroyer, has been called into existence." God replied, "You yourselves will furnish the axe with a handle. Without your assistance the iron will not be able to do aught against you." The command to bear seed after their kind was given to the trees alone, but the various sorts of grass reasoned that if God had not desired divisions according to classes, he would not have instructed the trees to bear fruit after their kind with the seed thereof in it, especially as trees are inclined of their own accord to divide themselves into species. The grasses therefore reproduced themselves also after their kinds. This prompted the exclamation of the Prince of the world, "Let the glory of the Lord endure forever, let the Lord rejoice in his works." The most important work done on the third day was the creation of paradise. Two gates of carbuncle form the entrance to paradise, 76 and 60 myriads of ministering angels keep watch over them. Each of these angels shines with the luster of the heavens. When the just man appears before the gates, the clothes in which he was buried are taken off him, and the angels array him in 7 garments of clouds of glory, and place upon his head 2 crowns, one of precious stones and pearls, the other of gold of Parvaim, 77, and they put 8 myrtles in his hand, and they utter praises before him and say to him, "Go thy way and eat thy bread with joy." And they lead him to a place full of rivers, surrounded by 800 kinds of roses and myrtles. Each one has a canopy according to his merits 78, and under it flow 4 rivers, one of milk, the other of balsam, the third of wine, and the fourth of honey. Every canopy is overgrown by a vine of gold, and 30 pearls hang from it, each of them shining like Venus. Under each canopy there is a table of precious stones and pearls, and 60 angels stand at the head of every just man, saying unto him, "Go and eat with joy of the honey, for thou hast busied thyself with the Torah, and she is sweeter than honey, and drink of the wine preserved in the grape since the 6 days of creation 79, for thou hast busied thyself with the Torah, and she is compared to wine. The least fair of the just is beautiful as Joseph and Rabbi Johanan, and as the grains of a silver pomegranate upon which fall the rays of the sun 80 there is no light, for the light of the righteous is the shining light. And they undergo 4 transformations every day, passing through 4 states. In the first, the righteous is changed into a child. He enters the division for children and tastes the joys of childhood. Then he is changed into a youth and enters the division for the youths, with whom he enjoys the delights of youth. Next, he becomes an adult in the prime of life, and he enters the division of men and enjoys the pleasures of manhood. Finally, he is changed into an old man. He enters the division for the old and enjoys the pleasures of age. There are 80 myriads of trees in every corner of paradise, the meanest among them choicer than all the spice trees. In every corner there are 60 myriads of angels singing with sweet voices, and the tree of life stands in the middle and shades the whole of paradise. It has 15,000 tastes, each different from the other, and the perfumes thereof vary likewise. Over it hang 7 clouds of glory, and winds blow upon it from all 4 sides 82, so that its odor is wafted from one end of the world to the other. Underneath sit the scholars and explain the Torah. Over each of them 2 canopies are spread, one of stars, the other of sun and moon, and a curtain of clouds of glory separates the one canopy from the other. Beyond paradise begins Eden, containing 310 worlds, 84 and 7 compartments for 7 different classes of the pious. In the first are the martyr victims of the government, like Rabbi Akedah and his colleagues, 85 in the second those who were drowned, 86 in the third, 87 Rabbi Johanan ben Zakkai and his disciples, in the fourth those who were carried off in the cloud of glory, 88 in the fifth the penitents who occupy a place which even a perfectly pious man cannot obtain. In the sixth are the youths 89 who have not tasted of sin in their lives. In the seventh are those poor who studied Bible and Mishnah and led a life of self-respecting decency. And God sits in the midst of them and expounds the Torah to them 90. As for the 7 divisions of paradise, each of them is 12 myriads of miles in width and 12 myriads of miles in length. In the first division dwell the proselytes who embraced Judaism of their own free will, not from compulsion. The walls are of glass and the wainscoting of cedar. The prophet Obadiah 91, himself a proselyte, is the overseer of this first division. The second division is built of silver, and the wainscoting thereof is of cedar. Here dwell those who have repented, and Manasseh, the penitent son of Hezekiah, presides over them. The third division is built of silver and gold. Here dwell Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the Israelites who came out of Egypt, and the whole generation that lived in the desert 92, also David is there, together with all his sons 93 except Absalom, one of them Chilib, still alive. And all the kings of Judah are there, with the exception of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, who presides in the second division, over the penitents. Moses and Aaron preside over the third division. Here are precious vessels of silver and gold, and jewels and canopies and beds and thrones and lamps, of gold, of precious stones, and of pearls. The best of everything there is in heaven. The fourth division is built of beautiful rubies 95, and its wainscoting is of olive wood. Here dwell the perfect and the steadfast in faith, and their wainscoting is of olive wood, because their lives were bitter as olives to them. The fifth division is built of silver and gold and refined gold 96 and the finest of gold and glass and bdellium, and through the midst of it flows the river Jahan. The wainscoting is of silver and gold, and a perfume breathes through it more exquisite than the perfume of Lebanon. The coverings of the silver and gold beds are made of purple and blue, woven by Eve, and of scarlet and the hair of goats, woven by angels. Here dwells the Messiah on a palanquin made of the wood of Lebanon, the pillars thereof of silver, the bottom of gold, the seat of it purple. With him is Elijah. He takes the head of Messiah and places it in his bosom, and says to him, "Be quiet, for the end draweth nigh." On every Monday and Thursday and on Sabbaths and holidays, the patriarchs come to him, and the 12 sons of Jacob, and Moses, Aaron, David, Solomon, and all the kings of Israel and of Judah, and they weep with him and comfort him, and say unto him, "Be quiet and put trust in thy Creator, for the end draweth nigh." Also Korah and his company, and Dathan, Abiram, and Absalom come to him on every Wednesday and ask him, "How long before the end comes full of wonders? When wilt thou bring us life again, and from the abysses of the earth lift us?" The Messiah answers them, "Go to your fathers and ask them." And when they hear this, they are ashamed and do not ask their fathers. In the sixth division dwell those who died in performing a pious act, and in the seventh division, those who died from illness inflicted as an expiation for the sins of Israel 97.